Hello everyone. I'm Erik, and to all of those I've met before, nice to see you again. To all of you who are here for the first time, I'm looking forward to see you this afternoon. It seems like the only thing people remember from my session last year was a small typo. So in that spirit, I think I'm going to continue that ride during this presentation and talk about what's cooking in R&D. Yeah. Yeah. No, if you take about replace the second C there with an O, you have what's cooking, what's happening at the moment. Oh, this is a famous stone sculpture in Norway that is called a troll dick. Yeah. Someone found out we want to chop it off, so they have chopped it off, and now they have spent quite an amount to get it back up again. So now it's back in business. Okay. Last week we shipped SuperOffice 8.1. So normally this should be a really happening with showing all the features and functions. Actually, SuperOffice 8.1 has been out there now, and most of the features has been available for many of our online customers for 6 months or so. So I'm kind of wondering, is this really old news, what the 8.1 contains? Or is it the best kept secret in the world? And I can't risk that it's a best kept secret in the world, because it's nothing so stupid that making something we think are nice without telling anyone about it. So we will spend some time talking about 8.1 and also the first steps of 8.2 today. 8.1 is basically a project where we went out, investigated all our support tickets, talked to all our subsidiaries, large customers, went through all wishes that came in, looked at the user statistics from our online customer base and say what do they use and what do they not use. And after analyzing all of these statistics, the answer came up that office automation is still #1 out there. Maybe not that surprising. Gisle ended up booking a time with his mental coach because he's very upset that we don't spend all our features on find, catch, keep. But I guess the basics needs to be in place for before you can advance into that. But the things people do is work with contacts, work with email, and work with appointments. That's the basic, vast majority of interactions or transactions in SuperOffice. And we talked to our customer, and the advice pointed against one specific purpose, and that was basically email. So let's talk about email. This is where we had most feedback that we could improve on. Especially from our Mac users, had some feedbacks on that. People really want email, and they want shared access to email, because personal email is basically an island of information, not shared with others. So people would like to share access to emails, both incoming and outgoing. Not everything, but the important ones. The need to store it secure by access rights, so that not everyone could see everything, but store it through normal access rights in SuperOffice. And it should be easy to find, reply, and manage emails from within SuperOffice and in your email clients. And people really love spending time in their own email client. So people who use Outlook really loves Outlook. People who use Gmail really loves Gmail. And if you dive into our customers, the picture looks like this. 85% of our customers are either using Microsoft Outlook, the Windows client, they use Gmail, the web service or the email client from Gmail, or they use Office 365 Exchange in the cloud with a client on top of that, either the web client or Outlook for Windows against that. We have had a fairly good solution for Outlook for Windows for years, and we still think that's a very highly valuable and usable piece of product. But when we look at the rest, we then have to refer people to the SuperOffice inbox. So if you have any other email service than Outlook, you are having to go into our inbox to archive and work with mail together with SuperOffice. So we set out to remake our own email client. That's easy, right? Make it 100 times faster, give it more CRM-specific features, and give it a new editor to make it easier to write actually texts in it. That was the basic goal. And wow, did we underestimate that one. We really had to work double shift on landing that. And the goal was to make our email client to call lean and mean. And now I get your attention. Even you, Henk, woke up now. Yeah? No, we mean with lean and mean, we don't have the ambition to compete with huge email client when it comes to functional features. We are not diving into out of office functions or automatic email rules and stuff. We are not competing head to head with Microsoft Outlook. That's not the intention. We aim to create a super efficient email client to work with on the day-to-day business, reading, answering, creating mails. And we will also take the advantage that this lives inside the CRM system. That's one of our key opportunities in this one. So I thought I should just give you a short introduction to what SuperOffice, the new inbox, look like. How many of you are using it already? Hands up. Quite a few. So this is how it looks like on this screen anyway. We have done something to create speed on it. Oops, so that's not what I was going to look. Away with you. Back on this one. Clicked on the movie. No. Here it is. Okay. So when I navigate through the emails, you see that it immediately gives you instant feedback. I can navigate my folders. This one is Gmail. Very easily. I can open it. I have a dialog that I can resize, maximize, take down. So it's basically more alive and usable web client, email client than it ever was. I can also, like you probably noticed, I can multi-select things, say Shift, and delete, mark as unread, move them to a separate folder, so bulk change. Some of these emails are now default possibilities. I can also search easily in this box and say, who's it from? What is the text? Oops. Hello. I can also, as before, use filtering here. Say, okay, show me only my unread emails and hide the ones from people I don't know. So you can easily filter, focus on a set or a target of your email box as you can. Could with the previous one, but now it's much more responsive and nicer and easier to work with. So let me just say, I had some emails from Kirsti here, I think. Kirsti. Yeah, I have this email. What I now can do is, I had a filter, sorry, turn off the filter. What I now can do is I can, of course, have some actions on it, where I can move it to folder, mark it as run, print it, and so on. I can archive it in various things, and I can also archive attachment. I can click on that attachment and say either open it or archive it. Now it states this email address, kirsti.akerholt@superoffice.no, doesn't exist. But this might be one of these two persons. Would you like to connect this email address to one of these existing persons? We try to do an intelligent search on first name, last name, domain name, all these kind of things to suggest good solutions. And then they say, okay, this is Kirsti from the design team, and make this her primary email address, by the way. Then Kirsti, this email address is automatically added to Kirsti and created as her primary email address. What's happening here? Then the document dialog comes up because I asked to archive it, and it's then pre-filled with the type, the company, the sender, and the subject, and it's only just to say create, and then this attachment is added to that company. So it should be quite easy to do that. I can reply on Kirsti's mail, and I will then enter a part of the new editor. I can hide the controls down here. I have new things like insert table. That's quite a lot more sexy than it used to be, where I can change these things. I can add an image, use drag and drop or click to upload an image. Sorry. And I can then say I want to align it. You also have what we called quick replies that's added throughout our application. So if you have a set of phrases that you would like to use in this one, you can just hit this button over here, and then you can access what we call quick replies. Here you can search, or you can select it from a list. So if I here say thank, it will automatically select this from you, and I can insert these quick replies for you. Or you can add attachments right directly in here. You can drag and drop files in here, select any SuperOffice document you have written, or just click to upload a file here. At the very stage where I send, I decide, should this be stored for later use in the CRM application, or should I just send it without storing it? This is why you have send and archive or send. Normally, you would say send and archive. And then it immediately sends out the email, and you can continue to work with the email. You will also get the dialog up to confirm, do I want to add it to a project, or do I not add it to a sale or something like that? And just click create, and this email is taken care of going out of here. You also have another quite cool feature when it comes to the email. I got an email here from Tor Bergsen. He sends an email with how to make quote management better. I say, okay, that's cool. I will address this to the people who handles incoming requests. By the way, it's me, but it doesn't matter. So I can then say archive, and instead of archiving email, I can just say create request. Then it will take the email into a dialog where I create the request right then and there. I can then say, okay, what category is this? I call it support. Who is it going to be assigned to directly, automatically, according to the rules in service, or directly to this person inside here? What's the status? And I can say save. And that will create that ticket directly into service. You have the possibility to try to work with this for a while. Of course, when you create a new email, you have all persons inside SuperOffice as your address book. So SuperOffice is your address book as before. And you have a preview of them, so you can use them at any time. So we hope that this email client is a giant step forward from the old Gmail client that we had, and that our Mac users and also Windows users that are preferring to use the web client and web applications without Outlook will hook on this immediately. And the statistics tells us that the usage is actually increasing and increasing every day on it. Yeah.
What protocols are you?
It's still an IMAP client. What most of the things that has been done is actually to take data and temporarily store them in tables in our database. So we access our own database for various fields, and that's how we can make it so fast. By default, we get emails or store emails for the last 3 months inside this, but you can adjust this with a parameter yourself. How much email do you want? You probably don't want your whole email server inside SuperOffice. It could get quite large. Yeah.
Are there any ideas of making it possible to connect directly to Office 365?
You can today. No, you have this is an email client only. If you are going to Office 365, we will make an Office 365 mail link, which we install into Office 365 eventually. Like I'm going to show you now. By the way, did you like that? Yeah, it's crowd is going wild. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at Gmail. We have the same situation. People want to sit inside Gmail, and they want to look up, archive, do stuff in SuperOffice. So the only requirement we say is that you use Chrome or Firefox as your browser, either PC or Mac, doesn't matter. You have to have SuperOffice 8.1 or newer. That means all online customer or the ones who upgrade to 8.1 now. This is shipped as a browser extension, so it's installed as a browser extension in your browser. You install it from the SuperOffice App Store or from the Chrome store with extensions or utvidelser, as it's called in Norwegian. It has the basic email feature, and by the way, it's only working inside Gmail. So if you are inside SuperOffice and say create email, it will use the SuperOffice inbox to create those emails. So this is where when you spend your time inside Gmail, this is the features you will have towards SuperOffice against that. So just let me show you quickly. Over here. Here I have a sorry, take away that filter. Here I have a standard Gmail account. Again, I have lots of emails here. If I open an email, I suddenly see that I have some extra buttons. On the wrong screen again. Gee. Back here. Sorry. It was close. So, where did I find that? The mail that had some attachments and stuff. Vidar. This one. You see that you immediately have some new things. You have here something that will look up SuperOffice, and it says this email address does not exist in SuperOffice. You have the possibilities here to say, archive the email, create an activity, or create a request right away. And also in the attachments, you have an owl here where you can archive the attachments directly from inside Gmail. So if I click on that one, it opens a Gmail document dialog actually. It warns me here that we don't know who this email address. You can click here and say, okay, Vidarutene we don't know. Could it be one of these? Yeah, probably this guy. Okay, save him. Vidar is then added as a person into SuperOffice, or his email address was added to that person. And I can save this right away as a document inside SuperOffice. So it's more or less exactly the same functionality as you have in our internal inbox or in Outlook Mailing. We'll also now move this into Gmail. And you have the same possibilities when you go and say reply. You will also say, hi, thanks. You choose here, should I just send it normal way, or should I store it when I send it? So then you say send, pick the right contact, say save. The reason it displays this dialog is that people would like to add additional fields as properties to the information about these emails. So more or less, basically exactly the same thing. You also have a possibility here to, sorry, I click on the wrong thing all the time. Need to figure this out. You have the same possibility here. Where was that? Yeah, to add things as requests. So in this case, I have, for example, something from Marek related to GDPR. Would just like to add this as a request. Here we don't live inside SuperOffice the same way, so we just list the different queues you have in your service inboxes, so you can just push this message into that box, they say. And then this is created like a ticket, the normal way, like you do it from our inbox and like you do it from our that you have to merge when they come into the request. So it's not adding message to existing tickets.
Will it send an auto reply to the customer?
Yeah, and just exactly the same rule will apply as if you sent an email to the same email address. So it's managed in exactly the right way with the same filters, the same triggers and actions based on that. Yes, of course, yeah. Otherwise, I had a lot of replies on that. You have some default options here that's gone up here that says, should I display this archive dialog? I can just click and forget if I want to. What should be the default templates when archiving incoming and outgoing email? That's basically it. And you can change what customer you would like to go into. So again, this is the guys. Okay.
Does our client need to have installed both extension and application from SuperOffice App Store?
No, nothing. Only this browser extensions from the Google App Store. So no web tools needed to create documents or any of these kind of things. Of course, if you want to edit those documents later, you would have to use web tools or manual up and download. Yeah?
Is there any buttons for those users who send emails by their mobile phone? Or they have to use the Pocket CRM?
They will have to use the Pocket CRM for now. So this is the web interface of Gmail, not the Google Inbox interface, not the mobile apps clip, so only the Gmail web interface that has this functionality. Okay, moving on to one of the largest features we have shipped for long in a new area. You all know what this is. You probably use it every day yourself in some kind of situations. For our customers anyhow, the real power is when you put this inside a CRM system and see what you can make of that. I'm going to show you 2 charts to explain why we did it, and that's the only 2 reasons I need. Persons are more happy when they get help of chat. That's basically what this is saying. And businesses reduces cost compared to using chat without other channels. So happy customers, less money spent by our customers. That's a win-win situation, like. So now I will try to focus on this one. So the chat client is working somewhere like that. How many have you set up your own chat in your SuperOffice environment? That's good. Something happening here. Okay, let's start on the user side of it. You add a small script to your web page, and you will get this kind of widget up and running. So I'm just trying to start a chat, and I can show you later on how to configure and set it up. So in this case, my name is Guttorm Nielsen. I am GN at superoffice.com. And I say, what's your opening hours during the weekend? Touch training from Erik. Okay, and send. It immediately then checks our FAQ database to see can we help him without actually returning his response. So we found that there is a possible chat response covering opening hours. So Guttorm could check this out to say, okay, is this helping me? And basically, yes, it would have helped him in this case. But you know, Guttorm, he is like it is. This was not helpful. No, I still need to talk to you. Then this will turn up on my screen over here now. I have a notification, but this will turn up as a incoming chat in queue. So as an agent, I've set myself as present. That means I get assigned new chats as they come in. So I click Get Next in Queue, and I have Guttorm's request here. My default response was is then, of course, to try to send him the same thing. Say here. Oh, Jesus Christ! One more time. This will be the talk next year. This is what you remember. I will immediately say here that, okay, I know I have a FAQ on opening hours, and send him that FAQ. Yeah, idiot, did you look at this? And he will have that, and he say, okay, then, can I get tickets to Expandable? Like that. And I have prepared this enormous amount of people who want tickets. So I have a possibility to write here /X, and it will automatically come up with a set of auto replies I have available that starts with that. I can press Tab and send it. All tickets are sold out, but we will get you in anyhow. makes Guttorm feel taken care of. Okay, he says thanks. Do you have the agenda? I get this up and running and say, okay, I have an agenda. I can send it to him right away. I have this as a file where I can drag and drop agenda and send it. And Guttorm gets this, of course, this document up here. Can open it, read the agenda for Expandable, see how it is. And then as he normally finishes off, he says, thanks. I would like at least 75% discount. And then it's really out of my hand. I say, I will check with my boss. What I do then is, okay, I can't do this. I transfer this as a ticket to someone else. And I say, now I've taken this out of the chat rooms, and I have created a ticket and escalated that into the system so it ends up in the right people's, maybe at a sales department. Maybe someone should do something fast about, and I say save. And then Guttorm, then we automatically create that he can go into our customer center and follow ticket number 91 to follow this request that we had. That's more than enough for Guttorm at the moment, so he will then just leave the chat. And when he leaves the chat, he gets a question, would you like us to send you a transcript of this chat, or would you just leave it right away? In this case, I say just leave the chat. And then you can see here that this chat is left. You have it here in the history of the day. You will also, of course, find it on Guttorm, right here. Oh, that's another one. Guttorm, where are you? So you have the opening hours for this chat. So that's basically how it's going to be used by people in here. So let's have a quick look at how what variations you have for configuring it. Yeah, Guttorm has waited. Now you're telling me. Okay, so chat is organized into what we call channel. And each channel is actually one type of bubble that comes up on a web page. It's typical to have for English-speaking people on my support page, or for anyone on my product page, you can define various channels. In this, it's a generic. In this case, it's a generic one that says customer inquiries, and the language is English. So here you set some properties. How long should it take before a warning is issued to people who are maintaining a queue and so on? What are the agents or the users that is going to listen into this? Which are going to have warnings, and who can respond to different things? You can also adjust slightly the layout. You have a theme, modern or classic. It's basically round or square look and feel on it. You can pick base colors, fonts used, show your logo up here, say that when an agent is going to answer, his image is going to appear here instead. What are the headers and stuff on? And then you have an interesting thing that says, okay, what if no one is sign in to the chat at the moment. Then we can offer to say, okay, then we will make it possible for the customer to register the ticket right away. So if no one is there, then this one should appear. Of course, this checkbox is not available if you don't have any complete or service user in your system. Then you only have the possibility to say, sorry, we are closed. Then it's what should you say, require for people to say before they can answer a question. Should I look up in our FAQ, in our help center, before when the first question comes in? So basically stuff like that. And also here you can decide, should we enable transcripts or not? What is the thank you message from people out done there? So that is basically what chat is all about in short. It's been out there for a while. Happy customers, almost no support. That's quite good, I think. Good. These guys again. He says, the crowd is going wild, it says in my notes here. Yeah, good. Okay, let's move on to 8.2. And the first release of 8.2, as Guttorm said, we had scheduled 4 or 5 releases before the end of May next year. And the first release of 8.2 is basically focused on gathering and documenting consent. So it all starts there. You have to have track on who can I store in my database, why do I have stored them, and can I send an email to them or not? So these are the 2 questions that we get. Is it okay to have this person stored in SuperOffice? How do I know? So our answer there is basically, that's up to you as a company to make sure, but we will help you keep track. That's all we can do. I can say if you are allowed to store this person or not. It is up to what kind of business you are in, what kind of person data you are gathering, what you are using them for, and all of these things, as you know. But what we do know is that a person somehow enters into SuperOffice. And my claim is that if you don't have the possibility to store, if you don't are allowed to store a person at all, they will never come into SuperOffice. You cannot store a person you are not allowed to store. That doesn't make sense. So every time a person is added to SuperOffice, he needs to have a stamp that says, where did you come from, who added you, and why did you enter here? What legal base do I have for storing you inside SuperOffice? And that's basically it. And that is when it's digitally obtained, means from web forms, people sending us tickets, people sending us emails, contacting us on chat. They say who they are. And they need to know that we will add this because we are not able to help them if we cannot store who they are. Basically, you can have this goldfish chat client that just answer then and there and gone and nothing. But that's not what SuperOffice is all about. So if they are going inside SuperOffice, you're going to stamp them. And that's also all integrations need to do that. When they add the person to SuperOffice, they need to say, where did it come from, when did it arrive, and why is this person added? So again, I'll try now to don't make the same mistake again. I'll bet I'll do. Now this is over here again. I'm perfect here. It all starts for us with defining the different purposes you have for a persons to be inside SuperOffice. These purposes is a bit heavy, I think. But you have a folder called privacy. And here you can store define what purposes you have of doing it. When it comes to purposes, let's say I'm your customer. I would like to be your customer, and I understand that you need to store my basic information, but I can continue to be a customer and still say you are not allowed to send me spam or e-marketing, as it's called. Or I can still be a customer, but you don't need to know where my phone is at any time. If you would like to know where my phone is at any time, and I would like to tell you because you will give me lots of new features based on that, I will have to say yes myself. Don't take that for granted. So that is basically the purposes that you have defined in your database. And in SuperOffice, out of the box, we have two basic purposes that we need to relate to at the moment. The first one, can I store you? What legal base do I have for storing you in this database? This needs to be documented. And it's also need to keep track of, can I send you emails or not? And those are the two purposes that we track in SuperOffice out of the box. You can add as many purposes as you would like as a company and keep track of them individually. That's not a problem. If I, in fact, say, control minus here, I have cheated and I have deleted one. I can restore that one. So here I say that we would also like to ask to track who we got the consent to track location from. It's just by adding a new purpose inside the admin client, and then SuperOffice will start keeping track of that. If you have the software that tells SuperOffice about it, of course. So the lower part of this screen says, okay, when a person is added to SuperOffice, what should happen? Because we don't believe for a second that anyone, especially the sales guys, are going to remember that says, oh, I have a legal base for storing this of type, legitimate interest and stuff. That's not going to happen. So this is going to happen automatically when you add a person into SuperOffice. So this is why you can default say, what legal base are you going to set on the purpose store when you create a person inside SuperOffice? And also you have the possibility to say, every time I register a new person in SuperOffice, that's not editing or updating or anything else, but adding a new person to SuperOffice, I will send an email directly telling him, I have now stored your name and data. Look at an example on that. And as a company, you can choose, do I want to activate this or do I not want to activate this? In my type of customers, is this a best practice to do, or is it not? So this is really up to each and every installation, but you have the possibility in SuperOffice to do so. So if you look at how this looks from the user's perspective, I have here a guy called Gisle, and I can here said that immediately the reason why we have him this is the legal base we have of having him here. If you click on that link, you will see more information here. And say, okay, a user added Gisle with this legal base on that date. When it comes to e-marketing, we don't have anything, meaning we can't send him any mails. If you have a functional right attached to your role, you can manually edit this. This is basically like a cleanup situation where you want to adjust things. So if Gisle, for example, he has signed a contract with us. Let's see, consents or legal base, Gisle has, so we have a legal base documented in our contract that we can store him. And you can add a comment. Oops. Somewhere down there is okay. But basically, this is not something people are going to maintain for themselves. This is something that the system will automatically do based on different events around SuperOffice. What we start with is to set a default value when you create a person. Then you can adjust moving forward with scripts and macros and stuff to adjust this if that's important. Okay, so that's quick about what we mean when we talk about consent management or tracking legal basis on purposes in SuperOffice. That's a crucial, that's the first part of GDPR. That's the first part where people say, can I store this person in SuperOffice? Answer, you have to decide, but we will keep track. And the second question that we wanted was that one? Yeah. Starting to get a hang of it, though. You've seen that? This is how an email might look like. That is gone automatically out when you say, send this email every time a new person is created. It's based on a template that you decide, of course, but it's more like a receipt and not trying to sell in something else. The only part this is trying to sell in is to say, oh, can I please click here to accept that we will send you email in the future? So you can trigger that kind of asking consent through this email. It's one way of doing it. You have to decide what's right for you and your company. This is the second question we get. Can I say, send this person a marketing email? And the answer is, only if he or she has said that that's okay. If they haven't said that, then it's not okay. And we have put this into SuperOffice as a standard feature. So looking at how this is going to work in the future is, let's see, don't miss out here now, Erik. There we are. Okay, in mailings, when you create a mailing, we have one under construction here, I can say. Edit. Step 1. In mailing, we have said that you have to define a type. What is the content of this email? It's up to you to name your different types, but it's stupid if they overlap. So here it says, okay, this is an invitation, or this is a newsletter, this is a promotion or a special offer, or these are urgent messages. This is what you select from when you create a new mailing, every time. So when you come down the road, defining content and blah, 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 and you get here, then every person will be washed. So out of these 6 members, you can see that only 2 of them are going to receive them. Why? Because these 2, you don't have the possibility to send any email at all, no matter what content they have. They have not given you their consent to send them email. The second one has said, no thanks, I don't want invitations from you. And then we are automatically washing them away. And this means that you will only target people who hopefully are interested in that type of content when you send them to you. And the click rate, response rate, open rates will increase. You are not sending with a shotgun, but with about closer aim on it. You still have this option to say, I don't care, send them anyway. That is going to be removed and only given to person with a functional right to do so. You have the situation where Pekka is saying, oh, I need to send an email to all online customers because we are going down. He needs a function like this then to say, okay, I don't care if you don't want my spam. I feel that this is urgent, so we have the possibility to override it. But by default, no one can do that. So in this, let's see, same close. Back to mailings. Close this. This one I already sent out. You can see then that at the recipients here, you see the same result. Who did receive it? Who did not? Then you can filter on what we call blocked. That's all of these red ones. And you can add them to a selection and start calling them. Hey, listen, I know I can't send you email. Is it possible for me to do it anyway? Or try to work with them. It's not forbidden to call people and ask for favors. So then you can start working with them or remove them from your standard selection, or better, even better, if you are writing in the selection to a selection that of people that should receive invitation, add this subscription type as a criteria. And you guarantee that you won't waste your time trying to be held up here. So when this newsletter here was sent out to this guy again, it was called newsletter, wasn't it? Newsletter, search. Seminar invitation. Invitation to seminar. Jesus. Let's find it. Newsletter, was it? No. I'll just browse then to show you the example. It's crucial that I find this specific email. There we have news from Liberty. Here it is. You have this normal newsletter as you're used to. We have added 2 more links, link types, or at least converted. It used to be opt out, send me all or nothing. That was the no mailing flag, you know. If you click the link and subscribe, it was don't send me anything anymore. Now we have differentiated that. We have one type of link that says, stop sending me this type of content. That means I will not receive invitations anymore if this was an invitation. Or you have the possibility to manage your subscriptions to click here. And then the user will get to a web page where he can do this himself. And Guttorm, this is a fetter. This one. This is based on our skill technology that you don't need to have a web page for the user to. This is functionality built in, lives inside our customer center already for every customer who have SuperOffice installed. So this means if I click this one, I basically say, I withdraw my consent to you. Don't send me any more emails in the future. But it's more likely that I say, I'm receiving too much, so skip the invitations, skip the news, I want the special offers, and I want the urgent messages. I decide, for me, what you can send me. Then you get this back and say, okay, we understand. So if we then go back to the company, this was, I guess, Eide who received that one. You can view on the interest tab now to see, okay, this guy, we are allowed to send him e-marketing because he has said so, and he has said, these are the type of content I would like, and these are the type of content I would not like. And the same read-only applies to this. You can have a functional right that you add to users that can adjust this one. No e-marketing or e-marketing. It's basically like the no mailings flag used to be. But by default, that's not possible for users to set at all. And now, by default, it's like that. So when you create a new person, if you don't have any consent, it's off. If the person triggers on your email, signs up on a newsletter on the web, talks to you on the phone and says, hey, send me those kind of newsletters in the future, they will get the possibility to select what content, not only all in or all out. Good? Yeah, you've probably seen these guys now, right? A wise man once said this, but today I disagree. We are introducing what we call bulk update at the moment. A pre-warning. Bulk update is a power tool, and it should be handled with care and by people who know what they're doing, because you can potentially mess things up, and there's no point of return. Restore a backup is the only possibility, and we all know how good that is when you have 50 integrations synchronizing and doing stuff. So make sure that you have control before you start on it. Do any of you see any wrong with this selection of sold sales? For the data mining nerds or the data quality people, they might see that I have lots of sold sales, and almost none of them are completed. You could say why, but my guess is people forget to tick them as completed. I also have a lot of sold sales to people that are prospects. That's not the definition of a prospect. If I sold to someone, they are basically a customer, at least in my world. So let's use bulk update to correct these kind of issues, right? So what I can do is then to go on any selection and click task and choose bulk update. I will then get a dialog similar to find, where I can specify what kind of criterions or data would I like to update on this set of selection members. In this case, I select a sale completed should be checked, and I say update. It gives me a warning that says, oh, point of no return, go on. I say yes. And then it updates the sales and reloads the panel. And now you see in behind here, all of them are updated. And I can see that 12 of 18s were modified. So this is the tool and the way to keep data quality up and running. What was my next target? It was basically prospecting. Yeah, correct, thank you. I then switched to the company to show the shadow companies of this sales selection. I have one customer here. I go to the bulk update, and I just change the category to customer. And let's start the update. Again, point of no return, go ahead. And then it bulk updates, and it refreshes in the background. You can at any time go in after a job is done and look at the log and see, okay, what happened in this last case here? Then it was already a customer, so nothing was done, it wasn't updated. So you will have the log of what's happened every time. Yeah. Every field available in SuperOffice you will have here. So every field on every entity. So if we mix this with the GDPR and consent management and stuff, this is also the tool that we are going to use to document consent on the history. So you come from 8 or 6.0 of SuperOffice, been adding persons for 15 years, and suddenly someone comes up to you and say, you have to document why it's there, when it came in, and what's your legal... So that's a job. So then the way you do that is build selections and do bulk updates on persons based on various types of selection. In this case, I say, okay, these are people who have bought something from me, so the person who is linked to that sale, we consider this a contractual reason to store him in the database. So I go in here, pick, as you see, all the fields in SuperOffice are here. I select legal base, and I click update. The legal base of storing data for these selection members are contracts. And I say, OK, just add a small comment on that, and runs the bulk update. Point of no return. And then you can see that 7 out of 7 were modified. So now I have added a valid legal base for store purposing on all these 7 persons. And that's the way we are going to run these projects, by making selections. Of course, it needs to go fast. If I had 10,000 persons and I want to update this consent, it needs to go fast. And so far, it looks very promising, I have to say. It goes very fast. And we're still working on getting it even faster. But it's not only from selections you can do this. You can do this from any archive inside SuperOffice. So let's move over to projects. Maybe it's a stupid example, but in this case, we have a lot of follow-ups. We have decided that follow-up should not be an appointment type anymore, so I would have to transfer every type of activity on this project called follow-up to phone call. Maybe a stupid example, but you basically can do that by clicking something in an archive, or multi-select, say bulk update selected rows. Go up and say change this from follow-up to phone out and update. Point of no return. OK. Things are done. So when you now see here, you're back, everything was switched to phone out. So can you see how this is going to give power to you as consultants or data miners at customers? Yes. Good.
What if the user is making updates of the wrong fields? Can you undo?
No, of course, if you can search the mistake it came. If it says in this last example, every phone call in this project is now going to go back to follow-up. That's of course possible, but it's always moving forward. But as I said, no, there is a point of no return, no undo. Backup is the only solution.
But you were also doing some new logging, right?
Yeah, the login is meant as a digital trace and not a undo feature. Yeah.
It's a bit hard to see, but is the cancel button default?
Yeah, enter will not say OK. So that's the point. Yeah. But again, this is I feel I repeat myself. This is also a functional right, like today. So can bulk update is a functional right that you should give to very few people who know what they are doing. Read only. This bulk update will apply to the sentry rules that you set. So if you, as a user, are not allowed to update that field, bulk update will not do it either. It will then stand in the log, access denied, to do that. So it will follow the exact same sentry rules as the user who runs the job has in the normal application.
I suppose it's available on the selection for appointment.
Every archive in SuperOffice you can do this. In the first version of 8.2. In the Windows version you can do it already in 8.1. Yeah.
Can you schedule it?
No, you can't schedule. Or maybe I'm going ahead myself, but join Tony's track on that tomorrow if you want to dig more into it. Today? Okay, he will answer that later today. Good. And again. So, run up. Pocket CRM. Any news here? No, sorry. No. Just kidding. I thought I was going to show you a quick thing that we have done with Pocket CRM right now. I have proven that I'm a tech whiz guy with all these alt tab and screens, as you know. So let's see here. So is this guy with me? Yes, here it is. For those of you who have recently installed Pocket and are working with sales, you will now see that sales is more like any other entity screen. So you can search on sales and you can have your history in sales. So if I search on sales, test, it's the only thing I know of, super. It will then search for sales by title or by owner and give back to me with sales. And as I said, you will have your history on it. This pushed out the sales report, the chart. So we made a new one that is a very small, minor start of what we plan to be a full-fledged dashboard solution. So in the future, we will add any dashboard that you have or any tile that you have available in the web client as a possible tile inside dashboards here in Pocket. But one of the most infrastructural things we have been working on at the moment is what we call notification. And notifications are quite a big technology chip, even though it seems simple. I have talked to Omar and asked him to invite me to a meeting to just show you what invitations is going to look like. So when an invitation is, a meeting is stored and an invitation is sent, you'll have to wait until you get the invitation. Are you on it, Omar? Is Omar here? Yeah, he's here. Oh, okay, I've been invited. So what I can do now, let's see. What was it? Up. Okay. So this is the invitation. So this is basically how it is. So you will get them on the notification screen unless you have, of course, clicked on them. So notification will pop up on your home screen, depending, of course, you can deny them in the settings of the phone, but they will basically pop up regardless if you have started the client or not. So it's not whether you are logged in to SuperOffice or not. Another minor feature I would like to, Jesus, this one was nice. SuperOffice. Another nice feature I would like to show you is, to me and my typing skills, adding companies is a pain on Pocket. But not so much anymore. Okay, I say new, and I say scan a business card. And I have a business card here. Oh. Let's keep this one here. And I say use this photo. I say, oh, this person already exists. That's good to know. Preventing you from adding duplicates. And it will take you directly to this person. Oh, but that wasn't actually what you can say. There are two times you can do. You can scan or take photos of business card in the meeting and then go home. And then you can say new again and say scan business card. And instead of taking a photo, you can browse your pictures and say, okay, all pictures, I'm taking a chance here now. And pick a picture, and it will say, no existing match found, add new person. And it comes up with the name, account, title, what it tries to read out of the business card. And all you then need to do is to save. And this person is then saved into SuperOffice with a new company, with all the details, with all default values, with mandatory field set if you need that, and so on. So that's some of the things we do with Pocket right now. Yes. No, this is taking a picture in OCR scanner, basically. So that's not an OCR scanner in that way. No. Yes?
Can you also scan an email signature?
You can scan any photo that you would like and try to send it. Some things it's better of guessing, and some things it's poorer. But if your screen is like, flubbering very much, then that could affect the quality of the picture. But basically, we take a picture, send it off to an Azure service, get text back, and try to analyze what kind of text did we return, and then determine, is this a person we know or a person we should add?
When is this available?
This is going to be available for our online customers within the next weeks. On site, we need to land the story on what's needed on the customer side, because Apple needs to know where to return it, and it can only return it to one address, and then we need to act as a dispatcher. It's a technical thing. Talk to us later about it, but we aim to find a solution to this. So it will also be available for on-site customers, and for me, sooner than later. Yeah. Google, same thing with Google. So Android and iPhone has the same thing. Yeah.
Are there any plans of bringing a chat client to Pocket?
A
Chat client?
Yeah, we are investigating if our chat client should also be possible to they are not in production at the moment, but we are investigating that possibility, yes. Yeah, these guys again, I'm trying to get sick of them. And so it's time to stop talking about features in the user interface. We hope that this is the reaction we are hoping for from our customers when they receive this feature set, and we really need your help to embrace, to get it out there. And by the way, this is not how the customer is going to look like when he gets it, because it's free. It's included in all existing user plans, so there are no additional charges of taking these features to site as long as you have the various user plans for SuperOffice. I added this picture because I was going to say now it's time to harvest from the goods of the new features and blah blah blah. It just get too fluffy, but the picture was nice, right? So I kept it. But now it's time for those of you who relate to these guys to straighten your backs and look up from your computers and pay attention. And I have to give you a warning here. There might be code shown. And who's better to show us code and these things than the man himself? So, Sverre, it's all yours.